Right now, somewhere off the coast of California, a ship carrying 4,000 containers is burning 11 tons of fuel a day doing absolutely nothing, just sitting there. Floating waiting for a parking spot. That ship costs roughly $90,000 every 24 hours, whether it moves or not. The crew gets paid. The engine idles. The charter clock ticks, and the container terminal 3 miles away, the one with 7 giant cranes and 100 acres of asphalt, is technically not full. It has space. It just can't use it because someone's couch is in the way. Not literally a couch. A steel box with a couch inside it. The 40-foot container that was supposed to leave the terminal 6 days ago on a truck that never showed up. And that container is now sitting on top of 2 other containers that are ready to go. Which means none of the 3 can move, which means the crane that is supposed to be unloading the next ship is instead playing a 7-ton game of Jenga in the yard. This is the entire economics of a container terminal in one scene. Not storage, not real estate flow. A container terminal does not make money by holding your stuff. It makes money by moving your stuff through as fast as physically possible and then moving the next guy's stuff through the same slot. The moment cargo stops moving, the terminal starts dying, not slowly, not gracefully. It chokes. And it chokes in a very specific, very expensive way that most people completely misunderstand. So let's tear this apart. First, you need to understand who actually owns what, because almost nobody gets this right. A port and a terminal are not the same thing. The Port of Los Angeles is a landlord. It is a government agency that owns the waterfront, the channels, the breakwaters. It doesn't touch a single container. It leases giant chunks of land to terminal operators. Companies like APM Terminals, SSA Marine, Trapac, who build the cranes, hire the labor, pour the concrete, and run the actual operation. Those operators then sign deals with shipping lines, Maersk, MSC, CMA, CGM, who bring the ships. 3 completely different entities with 3 completely different financial incentives, all jammed into the same strip of coast, all pretending to cooperate. The terminal operator is the one we care about. That is the business. And the business model is deceptively simple. You get paid per container move. A ship shows up, you lift boxes off. You lift boxes on, you charge per lift. The standard industry term is a berth move or a crane move. Everything else, the yard, the trucks, the rail, exists to support that one transaction. Crane touches box. Money happens. A single ship to shore gantry crane, those massive steel dinosaurs you see lining the waterfront, costs between $8 and $12 million. A terminal with 6 of them has north of $60 million just in cranes. Each crane can do roughly 30 to 35 moves per hour under ideal conditions. So when a ship with 5,000 containers pulls in, basic math says you need about 6 cranes working simultaneously to unload and reload it in 24 to 30 hours. That is the target. That is the number that decides whether you make money or go bankrupt. Because here is the part nobody outside the industry thinks about. The ship doesn't pay you to sit at your dock, you pay the ship to leave. Not directly, but functionally. Every extra hour that vessel stays at berth is an hour the next vessel can't dock, and the next vessel is already approaching, burning its own fuel, racking up its own costs. The World Bank's Container Port Performance Index ranks terminals primarily by time in port. How many hours between a ship arriving at the harbor and leaving with its new cargo? The global median is around 30 hours. Top performers in Asia do it in under 17. Some terminals in sub-Saharan Africa take over 5 days. The difference between 17 hours and 5 days is not effort. It is not how hard people work. It is what happens on the ground behind the cranes, the yard. A container terminal yard is not a warehouse. Do not think of it as a warehouse. Think of it as a buffer, a very expensive, very impatient buffer. Containers come off the ship, land in the yard, and are supposed to leave within 3 to 5 days, picked up by a truck or loaded onto a train. The yard is designed for this rhythm. Slots are allocated, cranes are routed, gate appointments are scheduled, all based on the assumption that boxes cycle through at a specific pace. The moment that pace breaks, everything breaks, and the pace broke spectacularly in late 2020 and into 2021. At the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach, together the largest container gateway in the Western Hemisphere, ships started stacking up at anchor. Not 5, not 10. At the peak, over 100 vessels were waiting offshore. The ports themselves weren't damaged. No earthquake, no strike, no crane malfunction. The cranes worked fine. The berths were intact. The problem was behind the cranes. The yard was constipated. Containers were arriving faster than trucks could pick them up. Warehouses inland were full, chassis. The wheeled frames that trucks used to haul containers were trapped under boxes that nobody was collecting. So containers just sat and sat. Average dwell time, which normally hovered around 3 to 4 days, ballooned to 9, 10, 12 days. Some boxes sat for weeks. Here is where the physics gets cruel. A terminal yard has a fixed number of ground slots. When it is around 50 to 60% full rubber-tired gantry cranes, the smaller cranes that stack containers in the yard can access any box in 1 or 2 moves, efficient, clean, fast. But as utilization creeps past 70%, the math changes. The box you need is now buried under 2 or 3 other boxes that have to be moved first. Each rehandle, lifting a box just to get to the box underneath, takes the same crane time as a productive move but generates zero revenue. It is pure waste. Pure friction. At 85% yard utilization, a terminal doesn't have 15% of its space free. It has almost zero functional capacity. Every retrieval requires a cascade of rehandles. Crane productivity drops by 40–50%. Trucks line up at the gate because the yard crane that is supposed to load them is busy shuffling containers that aren't going anywhere. Gate queues spill onto public roads. Truckers who get paid per trip are now earning nothing while idling for 4 hours on a freeway off-ramp. And then the feedback loop seals shut. Trucks can't get in efficiently, so containers stay longer. Containers staying longer fills the yard more. A fuller yard slows down the cranes. Slower cranes keep ships at berth longer. Ships at berth longer push arriving ships to anchor. Ships at anchor burn fuel and miss their next port call, which scrambles schedules across the entire Pacific. So a couch that should have left 6 days ago is now personally responsible for a 12,000-mile supply chain seizure. Wait, the entire Trans-Pacific shipping network got kneecapped because somebody didn't pick up their IKEA order on time. Basically, yes, this is why terminals charge you to leave your container in the yard. And they don't charge politely. The fee structure is designed to hurt. 3 different charges, 3 different clocks, and most importers confuse all of them. Demurrage is what the shipping line charges you for leaving your container at the terminal past the free time, usually 4 to 7 days. The container still belongs to the shipping line. You are renting it. After free time expires, demurrage can run $150 to $300 per Dalton Y, sometimes more. Detention kicks in once you picked up the container and taken it to your warehouse but haven't returned the empty box. The shipping line charges you for keeping their equipment. Storage is what the terminal operator itself charges for the physical ground slot your container occupies. 3 different entities billing you simultaneously for the same fundamental sin. You are too slow. These fees are not designed to generate revenue. They generate revenue, sure. During the 2021 congestion crisis, some estimates put demurrage and detention charges across U.S. ports in the billions. But the primary function is behavioral. The terminal is trying to shove you off its property. Every day your box stays, it physically blocks another box from cycling through. The terminal doesn't want your rent money, it wants your slot back. This is the part that breaks people. brains. A half-empty terminal makes more money than a full one. Think of it like a restaurant. A restaurant with 30 tables makes its money by turning tables, seating a party, serving them, clearing the table, seating the next party. If one table sits for 4 hours nursing a single coffee, that table has generated $4 and blocked 3 dinner seatings worth $600. The restaurant doesn't want that customer's rent. It wants them gone. A container terminal with $1.2 million of annual throughput capacity at 60% yard utilization might actually process $1.2 million too because the cranes are fast. The trucks flow freely and the system breathes. That same terminal at 90% utilization might only manage 700,000 TU because everything is gridlocked. More stuff physically present, less stuff actually moving, less money earned. This is why modern terminals are investing billions in automation, not to replace workers, though that happens, but to control dwell time. Automated stacking cranes in yards like Rotterdam, Maasvlakte 2nd, or Long Beach Container Terminal can stack containers 7 high in precise grids and retrieve any single box without rehandling. The crane knows exactly where every container is, how long it has been there, and when it is scheduled to leave. No guesswork, no shuffling, no wasted moves. Automated gate systems with optical character recognition scan trucks in, assign them a yard slot, and give them a 15-minute window to get in and get out. Miss your appointment, go back to the end of the line. Hamburg S-Port, which dealt with severe congestion in 2022 when cascading vessel delays from Asia met yard capacity limits, has since pushed harder on slot. Booking systems to prevent exactly the kind of chain reaction where late ships dump unplanned volumes into a yard that is already programmed for a different set of vessels. Rail intermodal yards inside the terminal accomplish the same thing on a bigger scale. Instead of waiting for 500 individual trucks, you load 200 containers onto a single train and clear the yard in one shot. The Union Pacific and BNSF rail facilities at the LA Long Beach complex exist, specifically because the road network physically cannot absorb enough trucks to keep the terminals fluid. All of this, every crane, every algorithm, every penalty fee, every rail track serves one equation: throughput equals capacity divided by dwell time. You can build a bigger terminal, or you can make containers leave faster. Building bigger is slow and insanely expensive. Making containers leave faster is what separates a profitable terminal from a parking lot that happens to own cranes. And that is the joke that nobody in the industry finds funny. A container terminal is one of the most capital-intensive operations on the planet. Hundreds of millions in cranes, billions in land and infrastructure. Thousands of workers, sophisticated software tracking every box on the property, all of it engineered, optimized, and financed around a single fragile assumption that you will come pick up your stuff. You, the importer, you, the freight forwarder, you, the trucking company. The entire system is a masterpiece of engineering that can be brought to its knees by someone who simply doesn't show up on Tuesday. Somewhere right now, a terminal operator is staring at a screen showing a yard at 78% utilization, watching it tick toward 80, knowing that at 85 the whole thing locks up, and the only lever they have left is to charge you $250 a day to please, for the love of God, come get your container. And you're on the phone arguing about the fee. The container doesn't care. The crane doesn't care. The ship burning $90,000 a day offshore definitely doesn't care. The system has one request: keep moving. And the entire global economy depends on whether you feel like